Good morning and welcome back to GMH Mondays edition, where we're going to cover some of our favorite topics around loyalty, hotels, loyalty points, programs, credit cards, of course, some scoopy news from our very famous Dennis Schaal here at Skift, and then going into what the impact of banning institutional investors could look like if it goes through on the short-term rental side. So let's begin. Good morning.
Good morning.
Happy Monday.
Hello, everybody. How we doing?
I was waiting for best day of the week, but
I know.
Doing good.
Best day of the week, as always, but everyone who tunes in knows that already.
That's true. The loyalists out there, the OGs, the every Monday morningers, they're always tuning in. But how are we doing, you guys?
Carrying loyalty members.
Yes. Ooh, way to tie it in. Well, for anyone who's just now tuning in on the live, whether from LinkedIn or YouTube, let us know where you're tuning in from. We always love seeing the new names and faces and destinations of all of our good morning listeners. But how's the weekend, everybody? How are you guys feeling?
Fantastic. Good start to the new year.
Brandy, the haircut looking fabulous. The brand new look.
Chopped a lot of it off. So
I was gonna say.
Yeah, it feels good. It's actually crazy how heavy hair is. I'm like, oh wow, my head feels lighter.
I was gonna say, did you walk out of the salon just being like, wow, I'm floating on clouds?
God. Yeah, having a real Boston movie moment.
Willow Smith whipping your hair back and forth.
Yeah,
exactly.
I love it. What about you, Michael? Did you have a good dadder day with the boys? How are the kids?
I had my 4 college buddies come into town and we went out. I'll call it glamping, but glamping, something in between, all weekend. So it was a good
You guys didn't get hit by the storm. That's good.
Yeah, we got a little rain. It got really cold, but that's all right. That's part of the experience, right? I didn't sleep great, but
who does?
I don't know. That's a great question. I was wondering, do people actually enjoy this? Okay. Yeah. Waking up and it's 40 degrees outside is pretty cold. But we also broke away and did some non-camping things, like go to the basketball game here at Auburn over the weekend. So it was a good time. Not the same old, but did have a great weekend.
Lovely. How about you, Jamie?
So basketball season started on Saturday for my oldest, Elliot, and he played for the right team.
Let's go.
Yes.
On time.
On time. Everything went according to plan. They now have to dribble, which is great.
Yes.
Yeah, it was fun. Fun to see them back on the court and competing.
I love it. I'm glad they're on not the same team, the right team this time. Very cool. Well, I had a chill weekend. Nothing too crazy. Catching up on Mad Men. I'm rewatching the series.
Oh, good choice.
Great show. I was very disappointed the first time when I got to the end. So I'm hoping that doesn't happen again. But rewatching it all was a good decision for the weekend. I haven't hit a mountain in a bit, and I'm just getting back into my training schedule. So I'm sure we'll have more mountain news for you guys in the coming weeks. But this weekend it was a chill week. Yeah. Not 40 degrees, Michael. That's pretty warm. I would be sweating at night, but
Will's just so tough and rugged now.
Yeah. The other we didn't get to climatize because it was 70 degrees during the day, and then overnight it got to 40. So that was a rough transition.
Yeah, 100%. That is tough. I'll give you credit on that one. But to Paul Manzi says, is his GMH loyalty card in the mail? So I think he's going to need a platinum one once we get those created. Just FYI.
It's right. It's in the mail right next to my swag.
Yeah, 100% next to all of our merch.
Still waiting on my Skip hat. Yeah,
I love it. Well, awesome. To cover some big stories, we're going to jump into our first topic as we are big fans of the discussion or being on the discussion of loyalty and rewards as some things are changing. Oops, I got the wrong order of stuff. Nice. Here we go. Credit card rewards are now rival to airlines and hotel loyalty programs. And so this was a fun article written by Sean O'Neill, including some of our recent Skift research around this. And I'll just pull up the chart to kick us off as that we've seen a shift go from hotel loyalty rewards and airline rewards down to the actual credit card rewards themselves. We knew this shift was happening, but to see the data behind it is pretty staggering in terms of the US having 34% in terms of being more happy or moving towards credit card rewards.
I'd like to call out the very British sentiment of none of them feel rewarding.
I loved that.
18% of Brits say no reward systems feels rewarding for those that don't have the chart in front of them. But I'll kick it off. I personally feel this shift or transition. Part of it's because I'm not traveling like I used to. I'm still traveling probably more than the average person, but not every other week. And so my loyalties change and my rewards change because I'm not traveling as much. Out of Atlanta, you're kind of a default Delta. There's really not another path or option. But in terms of hotel loyalty, I don't have a hotel loyalty. I do prefer credit card points to hotel points and even to Delta points at this intersection of life. So
dang, that's big for Michael. That's big.
Look, I still have probably more Delta miles than I need in my account sitting there waiting for a trip coming up. But I think regardless, a drive to hotel stay is far more likely than a family of four hopping on a plane on a regular basis. So the flexibility that credit card points give you is better than any singular loyalty piece. And I think part of that comes down to the loyalty. Like when you go stay at one of the 4 or 5 major flags, it is the same experience. And so they nailed the consistency standpoint, but I think they've lost a bit of the hospitality or the localization or the fun of traveling. If you stay in, name flag in Atlanta or name flag in Miami or New York, it's all the same, which is great for maybe the business traveler that likes that. But I think our generation and younger much prefers to have a more authentic feel.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Michael, I feel like your experience is like a microcosm of like what we see across the loyalty sort of ecosystem, where loyalty really started with business travel. Like that's where hotel and airline points really started getting going. Like, okay, if work's paying for it, like might as well earn the points and then be able to build them up for leisure travel. And now that loyalty has gone mainstream, they've putting themselves in front of people. Okay, if I'm going to be spending money anyway, I might as well earn points and then go spend those on travel. So what am I going to be spending money for anyway? It's like everything else I need to run my life. I'm then going to be using a credit card to do that, and then use those to sort of make sure I'm using that card, maybe even encourage me to use that card for more and more purchases because they're going to be garnering points. And it is, I think, and Skip, this report is just showing how loyalty has gone mainstream in terms of the average consumer. And they're doing that through credit cards and not through hotels or airlines.
For sure. Well, I wanted to bring this clip in from the Skiff Travel podcast with Seth Borko and Sarah Kopit because they talked about this a little bit more in depth than we're going to today. But Seth brings up a really good point on what loyalty used to be and what it's turned into. So I'm going to play this clip and then we'll move on from here.
Loyalty has become this word where you'll hear people talk about it like the loyalty or, I work in loyalty. I do.
Right.
We refer to loyalty as a program or as a product. Loyalty is an emotion. And what's so interesting,
Yeah.
what you're articulating to me, Sarah, is that you do not feel loyalty the emotion, but you are in loyalty a program. And when
Yeah.
people do not have loyalty the emotion with a brand, they are really just mercenaries who feel trapped by convenience. And if a credit card company
Mercenaries trapped by convenience. That's perfect. I love it. That's like a skiff
And-
take.
yeah.
That's great.
And if
that's fantastic.
an AI robot or a credit card company comes around with a better offer and can make it really easy for you, those aren't customers that are actually loyal to you.
So a great skiff take, mercenaries
Mhm.
trapped by convenience, I will for sure say. But Brandy, I know you had some thoughts, so I'll leave the mic open for you.
Yeah, I think about it just like this is we kind of see all these trends in through our own lens and our own personal experience. But we've talked to, I moved from Miami to Boston. Boston isn't really a big American hub. I could get flights, but Miami was a big American hub. I like my mindset when I go to use my credit cards, I don't even like think about my American Airlines credit card anymore. Like there isn't an emotional
Right.
attachment. And also the quality of the benefits that I was getting drastically decreased because I didn't even make gold last year. So I am no one to American Airlines. But then you look at the credit cards. I mean, we talked about this before, but like Chase has this crazy new fee. But honestly, it's becoming they're improving all of their apps and their interfaces and the offerings and the way that you can go about spending your points. And so I feel that the traditional loyalty programs were sitting on their laurels, kind of like nickel and diming people and diluting what your points are worth. And the credit card companies are like shifting some things around. It's more expensive, but now you're getting a whole suite of perks that extend outside of travel. You can Apple subscriptions and DoorDash and whatever.
Yeah.
And the Chase has the edit where they have these relationships with hotels where you get free upgrades and free breakfast and $100 or $200 to spend at the property. Like that is now I'm like, oh, actually I'm not going to say I have like an emotional attachment to Chase because that's kind of crazy, but I am feeling more actual emotional loyalty towards them recently because I can actually see the benefit of all the things that they're offering through the points program.
Yeah. I used to have emotional loyalty to Marriott truly by like the experience I got when I walked in, and it was like, oh, even if I was a low bronze member who just got his loyalty membership, it was like, oh, Mr. Slickers, welcome. And like, they do the special things and they had that connection. But even now, more days, it feels like they've gone too deep into the script, too deep into like, just like head down, just get checked in, get out of my sight type of approach in terms of the brands and the execution of hospitality. So there's no longer that feeling anymore. It's just like, yeah, I used to be loyal to Marriott because I felt good when I checked in. Yeah, I got good points, but now, like you were saying, Brandy, I think they've definitely taken a lot away from the programs that make it feel like if I'm not even getting a bottle of water, what's the point? You guys don't even care about
there should almost be two categories. There should be a loyalty category and a rewards category.
Yeah. And like how often are you staying with us? Yeah. And that's something else. And how much money are you spending with us? Because those are different things.
Well, and are you actually brand loyal, right? Like, if I only fly Delta, but I fly 10 times a year instead of 50, but that person flies 50 times a year, actually flies 100 times a year, and Delta's only get 50% of their market share, their spend, their wallet share, then I think that's less loyal than it is the person who travels 10 times a year and does it 100% of the time. And, I don't know how you bifurcate those, but there should be a difference between a loyalty member and a rewards member.
That's a great call out.
We touched on this, I think, last week, but when I think about all the stays I've done with Airbnb, and that I have there's no reward for that loyalty. Although maybe I've canceled that out by how much I've complained about them on the show.
No loyalty.
Well, and we don't need to get into the debate, but they don't need the loyalty program because their consumers are so loyal anyway, right?
Because I'm still doing it.
Yeah. Why pay the fee of creating a loyalty program when you don't need to?
Yeah. 100%. Well, before we actually move on to the next story, I want to get Jamie's stat of the week. I think it's always good to break up when we bring in the stats. Most of the time we do at the end of the episode, sometimes at the top of the episode. But this time, Jamie, let's do it right in the middle. Let's go stat of the week mid episode. What do you got for us this week?
Yeah, I'm gonna give you guys 30 seconds to guess, and then I'll break it to you. But the stat is 3,500.
Okay.
It's a negative number, negative 3,500,
Oh wow.
Ooh.
and it came out on Friday.
I have really no idea. That's a big number.
There's a government
Or it
statistic.
could be small.
Tariff?
depending on
Is it around
Yeah.
tariffs?
So-
So that's Seth and Sarah recording. He mentioned it was coming out that day. So maybe that was it.
So it is from the jobs report. So BLS puts out job statistics every Friday. So 3,500, that is the number of jobs lost in the U.S. accommodation sector over the past year. So you look at in December of 2024, there were 1.949 million jobs in U.S. accommodation. So that's hotels, short-term rentals, really anything across the accommodation sector. And in December of this year, it was had it dropped by 3,500. You sort of see that shape throughout the year. So we got through May of 2025, and then job loss really started in our sector. Really weak summer. We have started hiring again, though slowly, but just shows the weakness of our sector over the past year.
I would love to know like a breakdown. I don't think you have this data right now, but like a breakdown of maybe you do. I don't, I shouldn't question you, Jamie. But like of which jobs we're struggling to fill or which jobs we're getting rid of, because I think of positions like maintenance techs, for example, like in any sort of like that seems like it's always in demand and such a hard position to find. So I would love to know if it's ever possible, like which types of hospitality jobs are we losing?
Yeah.
And how many of those 3,000 were Sonder?
Yeah, all of them.
Yeah, I mean the entire we lost Sonder and therefore negative job growth.
Yeah, and the point is though is that we're in a sector that's usually growing jobs pretty substantially. We're still 10% less than we were in 2019. So the industry has just shed a ton of jobs. Overall, night stayed is essentially back to 2019 levels when you combine short-term rentals with hotels. So we're doing a whole lot with a lot less labor. And then what was a recovery that was happening in labor has now stalled. And now with demand going negative across the accommodation industry, that job growth. And I also see it as as something, if you expect demand, more people to be staying in your hotels next year, you're going to be hiring into that. And the fact that we're not, that job growth is essentially flat for a full 12 months, that means that we don't expect sort of demand to grow out in the future because we're not hiring more people.
Well, I also think that we're back to the same number of night stays, but with less people. And I think that kind of echoes a sentiment that travelers are feeling, where like the quality of the experience, regardless of where you're staying, with like the exception of like ultra luxury, has decreased. And then as operators, you're like, oh my gosh, it's so expensive to operate now. Like how can we operate with less people? Like that makes a lot of sense from both sides of the travel story.
And COVID showed that to us by automating check-ins. Like pre-2019, Marriott, Hilton, none of them had automated check-ins. And
they said it couldn't be done.
Short-term rentals even then wasn't widely adopted with automated locks, right? And so that's changed a lot. Also in hotels, turn down service used to be normal, even at a Holiday Inn. Now it's got to be 5-star hotel to have turn down service. Yeah. And then the back of house got more and more efficient because of AI. And so like a 10K or 10% shift in heads since 2019 is not really surprising to me. But yes, in many cases, the traveler does recognize it, or hopefully don't feel it, but they often do, especially in things like turn down service.
For sure. It's the little things. It's always the little things. Awesome. Well, moving on to our second story of this episode, we had a little scoop come out on Friday where Dennis Schaal got some insight on potentially, Kayak trying to go private and exit from Booking Holdings under a private equity deal to spin out from the parent company, and it was turned down. And we are having some interesting conversations behind the scenes. For those who have met Steve Hafner, he is very much a maverick, and so not surprised by this idea to get out due to, I think, impact from Google and metasearch in general. But I want to leave the mic open for you guys to hear. What were your thoughts? Yeah, Michael.
Yeah, I think Steve is a maverick, is from his reputation. I've only met him once or twice, but it's this dichotomy of being a maverick and having built a big business and then being under the umbrella of such a massive publicly traded company where you can't take risks. And even still, he had some success in being able to take risks, like trying to build a kayak hotel brand through Lifehouse. That didn't pan out for a number of reasons, but I love the ability or the desire for leadership to want to take risks and make changes, because all too often in big public traded life, it's the CFOs that move into the C-suite and they're very risk averse, and then nothing really happens or changes and no risks made or taken. That's part of why I think we've seen Expedia start to be more and more successful, is because they brought their current CEO out of the business line and the B2B business line specifically. And I think with Kayak, Meta is in a difficult spot. So you need to revamp and reinvent. And it's tough to do that under the umbrella of a publicly traded company.
Yeah. Yeah. And you would think AI would disrupt Meta the most, but you'd also think the Meta companies would be experimenting the most with AI. And you go and look at Kayak's site, like you look for how they're implementing AI, and it's like there's like an AI little filter thing. And I bet that's got to be so frustrating as a founder to not being able to move fast and try to reinvent your site in the time when it's being disrupted, and some of the biggest changes we've seen in a long time.
I was using Kayak the other day for like booking my own flights, and I never really use Kayak. I usually just go on Google Flights, but I was checking, and I hadn't been on it in a while. It feels like this is a site stuck in like 2012. Like I'm getting pop-ups for other booking sites. Like the whole thing feels very messy, and it just, it seems like it's a shame that there's someone that it has like is a visionary and a risk taker and has really great ideas, but that the product seems very stymied and stifled.
Yeah. I don't think we're going to see I don't think this is the end of this story. I think we're going to see this probably come up throughout the year, especially because I'm sure like the reason why Glenn Fogel declined it is because he doesn't want more competition. Knowing who Steve is as a person, probably is going to be like, all right, like I'd rather just keep him on my team rather than have him go be free in the wild. Lowers the competition of another quote unquote OTA. But for a deeper dive on this story, this scoop, I'm actually going to sit down with Dennis Schaal later this afternoon to go a little bit deeper. He has covered the OTAs like no other in the industry, including meta searches like Kayak. So this is going to be a fun one to do a little quick 15-minute deep dive that you don't want to miss. We're going to try to publish it tomorrow. So keep your eyes and ears for that little special episode. But Michael, I know you had one closing thought before we go into our other story of the week.
Yeah, I also think once a story like this is out there, it's tough to kind of put the genie back in the bottle. So I would anticipate a spin out happens in the next 12 months or so.
Oh, a late prediction, but we'll count it.
Maybe an announcement of it. Maybe all the paperwork takes longer, but once this genie is out of the bottle, it's tough to shove it back in.
Yeah, and those who maybe didn't see the article, this was in terms of time frame 12 to 18 or 18 to 24 months ago when this attempt was happening. So we got the rumor late in the game, but at the end of the day, Michael said it could still happen now that the genie's out of the bottle. But this one was keeping our WhatsApp chats very active this last week. For those that know, the four of us discuss a lot on WhatsApp in terms of what's happening in the industry. We should really have like a GMH unfiltered where it's like access to our chats.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Hard pass.
You guys get to see what's really going on behind the scenes. But this story was very, very interesting, keeping all of us active. In terms of Trump wants to ban big investors from buying homes. Would it impact or affect short-term rentals? And so I guess like to summarize it in very short is that Trump made a comment that he wants to ban institutional investors from buying single-family homes. And those that know, like BlackRock, Blackstone, do a lot in terms of this type of stuff. They're big funds. They have a lot of money. They buy up a lot of things. So Jamie, let's start with you because I think you had a lot to say. And you had a lot to say in the WhatsApp chat. And so I wanted to get your perspective, especially because you have data and numbers to look at in terms of your overall view. So
yeah. So first, BlackRock does not own any homes. It's Blackstone that does own some.
They need to change their names then. Too similar.
So broadly, like I think, and I commented for Dennis's article, I think this is going to have zero impact on short-term rentals. There's just no institutional ownership broadly in the short-term rental industry. And we have seen some funds tried to start, but in terms of how this is probably going to be defined, it's going to have zero impact on the industry. And then broadly within single family rentals, so institutional ownership makes up about 2 to 3% of overall single family rentals. And when you think of that as a share of overall single family homes, that's less than like 0.5%. So their ownership of single family homes is sort of negligible in terms of the overall inventory. And then when you think about overall rental inventory, single family rentals is a small share compared to multifamily. And multifamily, there is pretty big institutional ownership. And the thing I like to think about is that renters are people too. Renters should have access to single family homes. That isn't something that only people willing and able to buy a home should have access to. And I think institutional investors are a great way when they buy homes and then rent them out for renters to actually get access to homes that they would have not otherwise been able to rent. Unfortunately, this has been a very politicized issue. I think Trump bringing it up is only to score points getting ready for the midterms, but it's a very sort of complex housing issue.
And anytime Trump brings something up, half of the country agrees and half of it disagrees, regardless of the policy. One of the things that came up on our chat was the correlation of how this attacks a boogeyman that doesn't exist, like New York attacks Airbnb as a boogeyman. To me, though, the big difference between that argument and the single family home argument is Airbnb owns nothing. They own 0 properties. But to circle back to your original statement, Jamie, people have tried to raise funds and deploy capital at scale in this industry. One, it's ridiculously hard to do. 2, their timing was horrendous. And 3, at current prices, it'd be very difficult to make anything work because that arbitrage or the delta between long-term rental and short-term rental just isn't there when you layer in operational costs. It's just not as profitable because it's such a hands-on business. And it's all cyclical. In 2018, 2019, that would have been the time to do it. Lock in at 2-3% and lower asset values, and then you can, like, if you bought in that window, then you're certainly doing well, unless you tried to buy more and refinance and whatnot through the tough years. But yeah, I don't think this has really any effect at all on short-term rentals. And does it affect the long-term rental or the single-family home market? It obviously does. 1 or 2% is not nothing. and but it's not going to bring housing prices down 20%.
No, and when I was watching a brief scroll through the LinkedIn bubble, and I was thinking if people were in our industry were thinking, oh, if there's an investor that has even like 20 homes, like that is not what this is about. Like,
Yeah.
you know, if you have 20 homes in the Florida Panhandle, like this is not about you. And so I think that is just something to keep in mind. Like this, nothing to, you know, get all excited.
Yeah, this is for the big like corporate firms, the ones that, you know, have what 500 million plus in funding.
And we'll see, like, and if it gets put into an executive order or it gets put into any legislation, what the details are, and update people. But I think broadly, this is not going to impact the industry and hopefully not impact the housing market much at all.
Yeah, agreed. Well, great episode this week, you three. As always, it's so fun to kind of look at the range of topics that we can cover, from loyalty to little inside drama at an OTA to, you know, will the world end or not? You know, basically it's basically the range. But
that escalated quickly.
Yeah, I don't know. I was trying to be silly. But no, it's always a good Monday. What do you guys got on the docket this week? Anything fun, exciting that you're looking forward to, or just in general?
I'm traveling all week. I'm going out to Colorado. So I'm gonna be in Denver just to get to the airport, and then I'm getting in a car. So, but hitting Steamboat, Vale, and Breckenridge. Unfortunately, not able to ski at all, which is sad. But yeah, ping-ponging around your great state.
Can't take any meetings from the lift.
I really wish I could. And I also have a slip disc, so I can't ski anyways. So, but you know, next time.
I was gonna say, let me be your Uber. You know, I'll pick you up at the airport. But
yeah,
I'm sure everyone at Skift would love me not attending my meetings today from driving. So yeah, it'll be good. I'm sad to miss you though. Sad to miss you.
Another time.
Yeah. What about you, Jamie? What do you got going on? Because I know Michael's gonna say same old.
Yeah, I'm heads down this week, and we've got some big projects going on at ODNA, and that I'm leading, and we're working hard. So can't announce anything yet, but there's going to be some fun stuff.
Something's
we better break
coming.
the news here, Jamie. And trying to get back to same old over here, Will. It's after the holiday season and short weeks for the kids at school and all that. This is the first full week with no kids at home. So excited to get back to the same old.
Applause for that one. Yeah, that's good. I feel you. Trying to get back into the work grind. I was expecting like everyone to get back from our 2-week break at Skift and just be, all right, we gotta hit the ground running. And it went really slow. And I was like, okay, it's not as crazy as I was expecting it to be this week. Thank the Lord, because I was not ready. I was like, I don't know. I'm still like trying to process all the cookies and sweets that my mom gave me for the holidays. So anyways, yeah, same here. Trying to get back to the same old, so that way we can enjoy a fun first quarter. But yeah, good episode today. Thank you to all of our live viewers. We had a good mix of you from our loyalist, Paul Manzi. We had Vincent come in at the last minute, who we did not get to his comment, but would love to get to next week. And of course, Terry White, and one of our all-time favorites, Tom Goodwin. So good to see you guys. And for anyone listening, make sure to like and subscribe. Stay tuned for the special episode I'm doing with Dennis on the Kayak Scoop. And then don't forget our lovely hotel crew on Wednesday. Until then, see you guys next week.